We'll give it a few moments and let a few people come in. Come in, come in, come in. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Come on in tonight.
That's what I kind of like about the Facebook Live, because once you go live, it starts showing on different people's Facebook.
Yes.
So-and-so's live, so-and-so's live,
Yes.
so-and-so's live. So people start coming in. Yep.
We'll give it a few minutes. Call somebody, text somebody, direct message somebody, but tonight you do not want to miss this episode. This is our 6th episode. Tonight you don't want to miss it. It's going to be one like none other. So come on in, come on in. We're going to give it a little bit for you to come on in.
Well, midnight hour.
Everyone has a midnight
Everybody have a midnight experience. I ain't gonna lie, I had about 3 or 4.
Well, normally in a lifetime you don't have one, but you have some.
Yeah.
But some normally stick out more than the others. One might stick out more than the others. And with that, we're going to go ahead on and begin. We just thank y'all for joining us tonight on the podcast at midnight. Well, I am the host, Signature Red. Tonight we have a show that is going to be like none other. It's going to be raw. It's going to be real. It's going to be laid out. That's right. No holding back. No bars holding back. Tonight we are getting loose because somebody needs to know that after their midnight, there will be a 12:01. Oh yes, after every midnight, there's a 12:01. There is a dawning of a new day. You don't have to stay in your midnight. And the reason we say midnight, because midnight have been said to be the darkest hour. Even the doctors say if they can just make it past midnight, they have a chance. And we have seen it over and over and over on at midnight, while people have made it through midnight and is now walking in their 12:01, in the dawning of a new day. So just sit back. We have one that's going to share his experience to help somebody. It's nothing to boast about, nothing to build ourselves up about, but every episode of At Midnight is to help somebody know that you can get through. Hold on. Hold on. Don't give up. Your 12:01 is coming. Even though you might be in your darkest time. It looks like you're seeing through sunglasses because what you're going through is so dark. But if you can just hold on, just know that you will walk in your 12:01. Tonight we have as our guest Mr. Doc Amy, the author of the book Kept, in his own way and in his own words. Thank you, Mr. Amy, for sharing your story to help somebody. And I would just like to say, I saw the change in this young man. I knew him when he was in his dark hour, in some of it. And I would just like to say, this is a true testimony to your young children. If you have any young kids that's going through and you think they ain't gonna never get it right, this one, Mr. Amy, is the testament that God can change anybody. Mr. Amy, will you just share one of your midnight experiences with us?
So, I think one of my darkest midnights was when I was in prison. I was in prison for the 3rd time. And when I first got there, the people, like when you get there, I was a trustee, so they sent me through where the trustees was at, right? And so this kind of little funny story how everything added up to how I got there into my darkest hour, right? So when I get to the unit, the warden asked me, hey, you scared of animals? Me, I'm a city boy. So first, right off the top of my mind, I'm thinking horses, cows at work. You know what I'm saying? So I said, I ain't scared of no animals. You know what I'm saying? So he said, okay, that's fine. So the next morning, they woke me up. They woke me up to go to breakfast by 3:45, 4 o'clock. Boom, go eat breakfast. Then next thing I know, about 5:15, 5:30, they come wake me up again. They say, hey, you Amy? I say, yes, sir. Well, why you not up at the front of the line? Mind you now, this is my first day here. I don't know nothing about nothing, right? And I say, you know, he's like, yeah, you finna go to work. Come on, you need to get up there. So me, I turn around, I start grabbing, trying to get my toothbrush. He said, oh, no, you need to get up there in line. Damn. I go up, get in line, and they put me on this bus. And they take off driving. Out the unit, around the street, it's pitch dark out there, I can't see nothing. Wow. And so then we pull up to like this barn, and I can see the barn lights and everything, and I'm thinking in my head like, man, them folks didn't really have me messing with cows and horses and stuff, man. So boom, as soon as I stepped off the bus, I threw up. I smelled a stench that I had never ever smelled a day in my life. As soon as I threw up, two of the dudes started laughing. He said, oh, he must be from that city. He can't be from the country. So they walked me in this big old barn, and when I walked in the barn, it was a sight that I had never ever saw a day in my life. They literally had 2,000-3,000 pound hogs, bigger than my eyes had ever seen. And I'm thinking in my head, like, what am I fixing to be? What is they finna have me doing in here?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the dude come up to me and he say, look out, kinfolk, man, you might want to put some rubber boots on, and then you might want to tie some tape around the top of your rubber boots. Wow. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know, what's going on? He said, yeah, man, they got you cleaning the hog barns out. I'm like, what? So, I mean, literally, as soon as I walked in the barn, after I got my suit on, got my boots tied up with the tape and everything, when I tell you I stepped into the actual barn, loose, watery hog poop went all the way up my shin, halfway to my knee. And I'm thinking in my head, like, is this for real? So he pointed and said, hey, there go the broom that you're gonna sweep it with, and then you can run that water hose from down there all the way down here. And what you do is you just sweep as much as you can sweep, and then you come back and you spray the rest down the hallway. He say, then you gotta open the cage, let the hog out, close the cage so he can't come back in, let him walk up and down the hallway. You go in, you spray his cage out, spray the cage out next to this one, spray the cage out next to that one, so you ain't got to hop in every cage. Then you close the gate, let the hog walk by, you open it back up, and by the time he get ready to walk in, you got to hurry up and jump out and close him in. And I had to do this around the whole barn, and it's like 60 big old hogs, so I got to do this for like 30 times, so it's almost like a 4-hour job in the morning and 2 hours after lunch, right? Wow. So I done this consistently, day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, and day out, for almost 7 months. And I was doing good. I wasn't getting in no trouble. I was following the rules. I was doing everything that I was supposed to do. And then I went and saw parole. And I got my parole denied.
Oh, my goodness.
And when I tell you, that rocked me, that crushed me, that was basically like me knowing that I was going to have to be here doing this job for a whole nother year with no ifs, ands, buts about it. And I believe when I went back in there the next morning after I saw parole and they denied my parole, I feel like my midnight, that was my midnight, because I went in that hog barn, and before I got the brush or the water hose or anything, I went in the corner. Me and the pigs, I was in there with the pigs by myself.
Come on.
And I started crying, like literally crying.
Yes.
And I said, God, if you real.
Come on.
Like everybody say you real, then you will get me out of this, man. Like if you get me out of this, I'm through. I'm through with the streets. I'm
Come
through
on.
with the women. I'm through hustling. I'm not fitting to get high. I'm through.
Come on.
I can't do, what people fail to realize is when you go to prison, you are no longer a name. You have no name. You become a number.
Wow.
And you become the property of the state of Texas. And it's like, no matter how good you do or what, those people make up their mind when they want to let you go home.
Wow. Your fate rests with them.
Exactly.
Wow.
And so it started hitting me kind of hard, like, man, I don't understand how God could let me go through this kind of stuff that I'm going through, literally having to clean up hog mess. Not only is the hog deemed supposed to be unclean, and I'm dealing with an unclean animal, I'm dealing with the nastiness of the unclean animal.
Come on.
And so later, after I started kind of getting a revelation of, and this was years after I got out of prison,
okay.
and I started doing good, and it's like God showed me that, sometimes I have to take people through more harder roads
Right.
to get them to turn around.
Right.
Because I can take you, because I've been to prison 3 times.
Right.
I went to prison the first time.
Mhm.
I mean, I was hustling before I even got home.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I started making calls, letting people know, say, baby, I'm on my way out. What y'all gonna do for me? I need
Come
to
on.
make some money.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Same thing, second time.
Mhm.
I was hustling before I even got home.
Wow.
Say, man, I'm on my way out, man. Say, listen, what y'all gonna do? All that money y'all wanna take me to the mall, buy me some clothes, don't give me some money and give me some work. Let me get back on it. But it was in this moment
Come on.
that I had to think like, man, these people can send you anywhere they want to send you and do whatever they want to do with you or to you. Like, man, I can't come back to jail.
Wow.
And not only that, I got 2 young sons. I love my daughters to death, man, and I know they gonna go the route that they supposed to go.
Right.
But I got 2 young sons that was coming up under me, and how can I tell my sons
Come on.
not to go a certain way when I'm going that way? Because they may not go that way in front of me,
That's
but
right.
I am ultimately their superhero.
That's right.
And they want to be like daddy.
That's right.
So I had to make up in my mind, was I going to be the generational curse breaker in my family to show my sons that that's not what
That's
life
right.
is, man. People rap about it, they talk about it, and they hoorah about it, but they don't tell about the dark moments
That's
and
right.
the stuff that happens in those streets.
That's right.
And there's nothing in those streets, so I had to make up in my mind that I really want my sons to go that route.
Wow.
And if they did go that route, guess what? They can never say, well, I saw you go that way.
That's right.
They can only say, I heard about you going
That's
that way.
right.
But they can't say, well, I know my daddy was in the, I saw my dad. I used to see him smoke
Right,
weed. I used
right.
to, I want to be like my daddy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I tell them all the time, I did this because I didn't want y'all to ever feel like that was okay, man, because there's nothing in those
It's
streets.
nothing.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so honestly, and this is how God works, right?
Come on.
That same day that I went in that hog pen and I cried and I told God that I was through, every day when we walk in, right, it's an old man. He sit right in the front. He work in the laundry. And so we don't have to track our clothes all through the dorm because we full of poop.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He got his little bin sitting right by the door.
Okay.
And so when they shake us down on the way from the hog barn, they pat us down. We down to our boxes and t-shirts and everything. We just keep our clothes in our hands.
Okay.
And then when we walk in, we just throw them in the bin so he can make sure we wash them, right? That day, as God is my witness, that man spoke to me for the first time. Me and this man ain't never had 2 words. All we ever spoke was, hey, how you doing? I think he was from Lufkin. And that's what we call him. What's up, Lufkin? And he called me Tech City. Hey, what's going on, Tech City? But that day, he said, hey, Tech City, you doing all right? I said, yeah, man, I'm good. He said, you want a spread? Spread means let's put some ingredients together and let's eat and just chill and just talk.
Okay.
And I'm thinking like, man, this man ain't never said 2 words to me.
Wow.
And I said, yeah, we can spread. So I went, took my shower and everything. Told my homeboy, nah, I ain't gonna go, I ain't going to shower. I'm gonna spread with Luskin today. So man, we got the spread, and he say, man, you don't like it over here. I said, it's not that I don't like it, man. I just hate working in that hog barn, man. Like I would have never ever guessed a day in my life that I'd be cleaning up hog mess as a job, man. I could never vision this for my life.
Wow.
He said, well, you know what you being a trustee, that if you find a trade anywhere in TDCJ that's not on this unit and you get accepted for it, they got to ship you.
Wow.
I said, what? He said, yeah, man. And so what this man actually did was, he said, I tell you what, go give me your TDCJ handbook. And it's a handbook, and in the first 2 pages, he got every unit in TDC with all the addresses on it. Man, this man went through and highlighted all the trades that was on that unit.
Wow.
And told me, don't file for none of these. Go put in some I-60s for anything but these. And if you get accepted to any of these, they gotta ship you. 3 months later, I end up getting transferred to the winning unit in Huntsville. Let me back up real quick, right? So where I was at was in Lovelady, Texas.
Okay.
And the unit was called Eastham. When you first pull into the gate, it's a sign that says Eastham Unit, home of the criminally insane. This is what they said. But I was on the trustee cap on the outside, so I'm kind of, I'm all right. But I'm still doing time with lifers and everything else. But I said that to say the only black population in Lovelady, Texas was the inmates in the prison.
Wow.
So we dealing with an all-white, racist town. So just imagine where all the black folks working at. In the chicken house, in the hog barn, messing with the dogs. You got the white boys working in ODR, clean, ODR's officers dining room, in the laundry, in those kind of places. And so when I ended up getting shipped to Win Unit, man, when I say God is good, as soon as I stepped on the unit, I did not see one white face until I got all the way on the unit. It was chocolate city galore. And then, on top of that, I ran into 2 people that I personally knew.
Wow.
That was God. They got, what you doing over here, man? I say, man, look, man, they just sent me from Eastham Unit, man. I am so happy to be here. And I got on that unit, man, and I hooked up with some brothers. I started going to church, started reading my Bible, and it's like it was a day and night switch. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I got in the truck driver class. Look, man, once I got in that truck driver class, I'm sitting in the classroom 6 hours a day, none but air conditioned wares. I was working out there in that hog barn, cleaning up hog mess as a job, in the hot sun, burning me up, to sitting in the classroom with AC, just sitting back chilling, to me being over there 7 months. Listen, my 1 year, because when you get your parole denied, you have to wait at least 1 year before you even see parole again. Wow. Man, I got over there. I got to going to church. I got to praying. I got to start doing all kind of stuff, writing my mama, telling her how good I'm doing. I was over there 7 months. Wow. 7 months. And this happened, and I never forget, it was September the 8th. 2009. They called me down there and they said, hey, you got a parole visit. I'm like, parole visit? So I went off the road. I had been doing good, getting in no trouble, doing everything I was supposed to do. I think it was right at the beginning of October, because see, on the trustee camp, they'll let you come and check your parole status once a week, every Friday. Whoever saw parole, you go check your parole status, right? So I'm just chilling. Some of my homeboys say, look, I text in, we gonna go check our parole status, man. I said, man, I just saw parole a week ago, man. they take 30, 45 days before they give you an answer.
Yeah.
So I'm not finna go check the, man, just come check, you never know. Man, all right, man. So, bam. I get down there, talking to the sergeant. You know me, I get along with everybody.
Yeah.
So by this time, I walk in there and say, what you want, man? You just off the road. Man. I said, man, look, man, all I can do is check.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? So, bam. He run my name, run my number. He say, FI1. FI1 means that is the best parole status you can get. All we need to do is, do you have an address on the outside? Do you have somewhere you can go? You don't got to go to no classes. You don't got to do none of this. All we need to know is, do you have an address on the outside for you to go home? And so I tell him, I say, man, quit playing, man. Like, for real? He say, yeah. Ran my name and number again. FI1. I said, man, I'm finna go home. So now I'm trying to get in touch with my mama, right? Now I get a letter from my mama 3 days later. Say, baby, the parole board just not called and asked us, you know.
Yeah.
And so at the time, my mama was living with her boyfriend, right?
Yeah.
And the man said, well, hey, he can use my address, but he can't come here.
Yeah. Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking in my head, listen, that's cool. Mama, just tell the man, let me use his address.
Yeah.
I don't even ever have to go over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why I thank God, like, I've never told her this, but I just really want to thank my little sister, man. You know what I'm saying? Because when I first got out, man, my little sister gave me somewhere to lay. She gave me somewhere to stay. Even though it was on the couch, I still had somewhere to go and lay my head at. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
and somewhere
yes.
to stay, man. So, Lenora, if you watching this, man, I just want to tell you thank you. I love you so much from the bottom of my heart. You came through for me when I didn't have nothing to nobody, and I will never forget that, man. Like, for real. So, yeah. I ended up getting out the Monday before Thanksgiving, 2009.
Wow. Praise God.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And man, ever since then, man, God has just been so good to me, man, because that was my midnight moment, man. And you know, honestly, we all still kind of have another midnight.
Yes.
Because I got out, I got comfortable, I was going to church, kind of stopped going to church. The devil visited me in 2011. My uncle died, Lord Belly Daddy, he died. My cousin called me and said, hey, I know you're not doing nothing, but my daddy died, man. You don't got to touch nothing, but could you just put me in connections with people?
Wow.
And I started putting him in connections with people, right? He called me a week later and said, hey, man, I'm thinking to go back to, you know, where I'm going. This is what I got left. Do you want to do anything? So next thing you know, I'm back hustling. The Christmas of that year, I'm on my way on a train, on my way to get it. I'm coming back on a train fully loaded. Drink, serve, everything.
Oh,
right? I'm back smoking, I'm back doing everything. And I can remember, I knew, I felt something in my heart that you're not doing right. Something got to give. And I went in my closet. I was living with my mom. Me and my mama had an apartment in I can't, they can change the name of my apartment right there off of Highway 3. They used to be right across the street from Mainland Hospital on this side. You know what I'm talking about. So I'm up there looking in my closet, and everything from prison hit the floor. My pictures, my commissary slip, my letters, my parole certificate, everything. And when I went to pick it up, it's like I heard God, not audibly, but deep down in my spirit, say, hey, what are you doing?
Wow.
I thought you said I didn't have to worry about you. What are you doing?
Wow.
And it was in that moment that I knew I had to get it right. I had to get it right. Because God, He stood up and He kept His end of the bargain. And so many times we trust and we pray to God, but what God has definitely brought me through, man, and just opened my eyes to so much, because, you know, it's so many more midnight moments, but I think that is the moment that really, really, truly opened my eyes of me doing what I was doing hanging with who I was hanging with,
Yes.
going to places I
Yes.
was going
Yes.
to, getting in trouble the way that I was, can end me
Yes.
up in the hands of
Yes.
Texas Department of Corrections.
Yes.
And these folks can do anything they want to do with
Yes.
you. I just saw dudes literally, right? Literally get into it with the law, get beat up until they was unrecognizable.
Oh
And
my
they will
God.
put them in solitary. They will intercept any letter that you got coming in, any
Wow.
visits, they turn them down, and then they will let you back out when you look like you again and deny everything because it's your word against theirs.
Wow.
And so I knew that's not life for me.
Wow.
That's not life for me. I couldn't live that life no more, man. And so that's why I try to use my life as a testament to let people know that, yeah, it look like it's fun and this and that, man, but once your name gets in that wavelength and you get that paper trail behind your life, do you know how hard it is to change your life around and start trying to do everything right? But then every time you go somewhere, somebody tell you, like, I'm going to tell you one time, I went and applied for a job, right? These people did not call me back or nothing. They sent me my background in the mail. Like, dude, do you not realize you have all of this on your background?
Wow.
Do you think I can actually hire you at our store? And so it took me to start having to know people who were in higher up.
That's right.
That knew people that was in higher up, that was actually willing to say, man, I know him. I go to church with him.
Yes.
Give him a try, man. And so every time I did get a job, I've never been late. Never called in sick. Work hard. Because like I tell people, say, man, the way I used to be on the street hustling all night with a pocket full of don't-go money, man, you don't think I'm going to go to this job and treat it like a spot? Man, my job is the spot. I'm up there hustling every day. Straight grinding. You know what I'm saying? And so that's definitely my midnight hour, man. And all I can say in and through it all is I thank God for the midnight hour that I went through, because had not went through that, maybe I wouldn't be the man who I was, who I am, and I would have went and tried something else.
Yes.
And it wouldn't have came out as lean as this here did. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so we all, like you say, we all go through a midnight,
Yes.
but it's always a 12:01
Yes.
that we come upon when we can truly trust God through that midnight when it's dark and we can't see. We just gotta let Him be our guide.
Yes. Yes. Well, that is so wonderful and so inspiring. That even though, and I call him Brother Doc because we are sisters and brothers in Christ. I'm no longer Mrs. Hightower, and he's no longer Doc. Now he has become my brother because we are connected through the blood of Jesus. So this is my brother. So I call him Brother Amy. And as Brother Amy was talking, and he said that he didn't even have a name anymore, that they began to call him a number, and it probably was a number like 0143970. But see, I'm here to tell you today that is not his name. The Lord says that he is not a number. See, they see your child as a number when he go down there. But the Lord has already given him a name, and his name is righteous. Because he said in Proverbs 11:21, he tells you that he is the righteousness, and that's who he is. So don't be moved by when they call you a number, or when your child sends you a letter back home and they have written a name and they have a number added onto it. And another thing, and he said that he had became the property of the state. But see, you can't become the property of something else when you've already been bought. See, what he didn't realize when he was in his midnight, that he had already been bought with a price. That price was the blood of Jesus. He was already owned by Jesus. So yes, even though he went through the midnight, was his darkest hour in the pig pen, but it reminds me of the prodigal son, that he found himself in the pig pen, but that's why he caught himself at. That's why he got himself together at. So sometimes it doesn't matter how low you think. God is a God that sit high and he looked low. So even though Brother Amy was in that pig pen, somebody on the outside was praying for him. And then not only that, he already had something on the inside. He didn't say he had to get to know the Lord. He knew of him because he said, God, if you are who you say you are.
Yeah.
Now, see, he had already heard about it. So what he was doing now, I'm bringing it back to your remembrance. If you are who you say you are,
Yeah.
you are God that can deliver, because somebody told me that you delivered the children of Israel out of Egypt. Well, I find myself in a bondage. And if you are who you say you are,
Yeah.
then you can deliver me.
Yeah.
God is not a God that he can lie.
Yeah.
Just like he delivered the children out of Israel, out of Egypt, he delivered Brother Amy out of the pig pen. And from that point on, he began to walk with him. Now, just because you're saved and you heard the voice of God and you're moving in the right direction, don't think that the enemy going to leave you alone.
No.
So what he did, he came back for him again. But once again, Brother Amy caught himself. He came to himself. And when he came to himself, he came back to God. He came back, and he came back and surrendered all, because he knew that his Redeemer lived. He had to give it up. He had to give it up. So you can't be on this side and that side. You can't decide, I'm going to do a little of this and a little of that. You either all in or you all out.
Yeah.
And so therefore, he had to get all in. And because of that, he walks in his 1201. His midnight is over. He walks in his 1201. He's in the dawning of a new day. Not only that, when he came out running. Now he is the author of the book Kept. He is the author of a book, because he realized that if God kept him, he can keep you.
Yeah.
He can keep your
That's
child.
exactly what kept
He can keep your daughter. He can keep your son. He can keep your husband. He can keep you. God is no respecter of a person.
Yeah.
What he did for Brother Amy, he'll do it for you. So now he is in his 1201. He's in the dawning of a new day. He has a ministry that's called Lost and Found. He has another ministry that's called Be the Change that you want to be. When Brother Amy went to prison, he went there alone. It's a great woman of God. So don't give up. Don't give out. Don't worry about your midnight. There has to be a 1201. And as the 1201 comes, you move on in to the dawning of a new day. Now, if for some reason you would like the book Kept, Brother Amy, how can they get in contact with you?
First of all, you can hit me. I keep them in the trunk of my car, because I've realized that when you go through Amazon, Amazon takes most of the profit, and I get a very, very small percentage of them. So what I do, I just order my own copies, and I slang them right out the trunk of my car. So you can get with me, or you can go to Amazon. They are definitely on Amazon. It's Kept by Edward Amy. But if you would like one, you can definitely reach out to me through Messenger, Facebook. You can get with Ms. Hightower. She definitely know how to get in touch with me. She has my direct info. She can get in contact with me, and we can make it happen however you want to do it.
Well, we thank you so much. In the event you do want a book, and I would just say purchase one. Purchase one. Sow into what God has sown into, because the Bible says He gives seed to the sower. So if God has given you a seed and you sow into Him, then He's going to multiply what you sowed into Brother Amy. And it would be a good book to share with your young people, or maybe even some old people that are still being challenged. So get the book. Get the book. God is no respecter of a person. And we just want to say we thank y'all for tuning in today. And we have a couple of announcements. One of them is about the shirt I'm wearing. Tonight I have on the At Midnight shirt with the whole signature red. If you would like to purchase a shirt, you can direct message me, and I will let you know how you can purchase the shirt, who you can purchase the shirt from. The other thing is, if you have a business, every Tuesday at midnight airs. If you have a business and you would like me to talk about your business or to share your information about your business, just direct message me. And on Tuesday, on the podcast at midnight, I will be more than happy to share. Tonight, the business that we are spotlighting, it is by Peachy Teas. The owner of Peachy Teas is Sherelle Clay. She was on an episode of At Midnight. Actually, it was last Tuesday. She was on the episode. She has a business called Peachy Teas. If you need to order T-shirts, she is your girl. They also have a family-owned business by the name of Crawdaddy, where they said that the spice is in the taste is in the spice, whatever the slogan is. But last week, we want to air her business, PTP. Get with your girl, Sherelle Clay, in the event you want to order T-shirts. Once again, we would like to thank Brother Doc Amy that is now living in his 1201. He has walked into the dawning of a new day. God is no respecter of a person. You might be in your midnight hour now, which is called the darkest time in your life. But know that after every midnight, there is a 1201. There is a 1201. This is your girl, Signature Red of the podcast at midnight. Stay tuned for next week. Next week, we'll see you again every Tuesday on at midnight. Take care. Thank God.